This is Frieren. This is a 3D printed Frieren and she will be a part of my new diorama of the anime series Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Initially I wanted to capture this shot from the first episode, but I couldn't find a fitting Frieren model or 3D print file. So I started sketching some ideas when another cool scene came into my mind from the second episode. The moment when she found the blue moon flowers on top of the tower ruin. The idea was to build the top of the tower with tiny stone bricks out of XPS foam. Inside I would put some LED filaments and then I would cover the LEDs with blue flowers. Frieren would be attached to wires or a thin metal rod and those would be covered with flowers as well. I got me this cheap glass dome at IKEA where I would fit the whole diorama in. I started to print the Frieren model and in the meantime I prepared the basics. First I cut some cork into the shape of the dome where I would build the stone bricks on. This is a nice material because it is easy to cut and provides enough support to hold everything in place. Then I made the stone bricks. For that I used 1 and 2 cm thick XPS foam. The size of every individual stone brick was 2 by 1 cm. Not every brick would fit perfectly, but that was no issue because I could easily cut them into the right size afterwards if necessary. To make the bricks look more realistic, I put them in a food container with some real stones and shook the container for a few minutes. This would round the edges and corners of the fake bricks and also gave them a nice texture. Then I built the stone wall brick by brick using wood glue. Those are the parts I love the most in diorama building, making slow and steady progress while feeling completely relaxed and calm. I could do this for hours. For the last pieces I needed smaller bricks, so I just cut some existing ones in half and rounded the edges with my trusty ball of aluminium foil. The brick wall was done, but like you can see there were still some big gaps in between. After storing the remaining bricks for future projects, I took some modeling paste and filled the gaps with it using an old brush. Even though this step was a bit messy, I still enjoyed doing it because I really like working with modeling paste. For the final touch I cut off some pieces of the bricks to make it look more natural and then I used the metal ball again to add some additional texture. Frieren was done printing, so it was finally time to paint her and also the brick wall. First I primed the wall black with my airbrush. And when I was done with that I primed Frieren also with my airbrush, but for her I used a white primer paint, because it was easier with that color for painting later. Then I grabbed my wet palette, took some grey paints and started painting the brick wall. I just mixed the different shades of grey and applied those randomly by a wet blending, so the wall wouldn't look too flat. You can't really go wrong with this technique as long as you mix the colors with enough water. After the paint job was done, I took my homemade texture palette, link in the description down below if you want to know how to build one for yourself, and applied some lighter grey tones by dry brushing. The wall was now completely finished and now it was time to paint Frieren. To be honest, her paint job made me a bit nervous because I never painted an anime model before. The good thing was that my best friend gifted me this Frieren figure for my birthday, so I had the perfect model as a reference. But the paint job was still scary. For tabletop miniatures or more realistic models, I already have my usual techniques and workflows. Most of the time I use different blending methods like glazing or feathering to create shades and highlights. Anime characters, on the other hand, are mostly made up of single colors without any shades or highlights, which does save me some time when painting, but I was scared that her paint job would look flat and boring without shading. But I did my best. I was never a big fan of anime. I don't know why, it just never hooked me. Some friends always told me I should watch One Piece or Attack on Titan. Those are the best and you will love it, but I didn't. Frieren changed that. About 2 years ago I saw some memes about this elven anime mage and this blue-haired warrior called Himmel. Somehow that sparked my interest. So I looked it up and for some reason I wanted to watch that anime. So I started my free trial at Crunchyroll because that was the only streaming service that showed Frieren, and I instantly fell in love with this show. I've rarely seen a show with such well-written characters. I especially love that there is not a lot of fighting and action. Most of the episodes revolve around the connections and relationships between the characters, their past, their future, and what to make of it. Since then I watched a lot of anime shows and movies, and Frieren is not only the best anime that I have seen, but the best show in general. Give it a watch if you haven't yet. Her paint job was done and I gotta admit it is not my best work, but I was pretty happy. Next time will be better. Now I wanted to prepare the blue flowers which will cover the ground of the brick wall tower. I took some coffee filters and painted them blue. I only painted one side because the other one had the brand logo on it, which I did not want on my beautiful flowers. I let those dry and moved on to the electrical part of the diorama. I had to glue the brick wall in place first, so I used my hot glue gun to do that. The plan was to put 3 LED filaments inside of the walls, which were connected to a power supply underneath it. So I drilled some holes into the ground, guided the wire through those holes, which were attached to the LEDs, and then I glued those in place with hot glue. For this build I didn't have enough space in the bottom part for batteries, so I used a USB-C port instead. Before I attached the port, I had to connect some resistors to each LED filament. This was built in parallel, by the way. Then I glued a small power switch and the USB-C port in place. After that I connected everything together off camera. I needed something with enough surface area where the flowers should be placed, because I didn't want to place them directly on top of the LEDs. So I took a barbecue stick and made this cross shape. Then I took a thick wire and glued that in a round shape to the barbecue stick cross shape. I took some more wires and created a grid which provided enough surface area for the flowers. And then I ran into a problem. When I was testing the LEDs with the blue painted coffee filters, I realized that the coffee filters let almost no light through. So I went and got me this transparent paper, which wasn't perfect, but it let at least enough light through to sell the effect. But before I could place the flowers, I had to attach Frieren first. When I was drilling the holes for the filaments, I drilled additional holes for a thin metal rod and wires, which will hold Frieren and more flowers. I took the metal rod and bent it with my pliers. When I was happy with the placement, I glued the rod in place and also Frieren. I am so sorry, Frieren, but there was no other spot but this for putting the hot glue. I hope you can forgive me. The final step was to plant the flowers. I took the transparent paper and my hobby knife and cut out tons of small round shapes, which served as blue moon flowers. The cutting part was not really fun because it took me a long time to gather enough for covering the whole area. But the gluing part, on the other hand, was somehow relaxing and didn't bother me at all. I also cut out some pieces of the coffee filters, took a Q-tip, which was a nice tool to form the small blue pieces into a more flower-like shape, and glued those on top of the layer of transparent paper. These flowers were also used to hide the metal rod where Frieren was sitting on and also the wires. After putting on dozens of blue flowers, the diorama was finished and Frieren looked happy. I certainly was. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, if you want to see more videos like this, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below and subscribe. Alright, thank you for watching, have a good one, cheers.